I saw a peaceful demonstration live on a Facebook video right after I had read a very detailed article that looked like it was in depth about the right-wing riots that occurred about the same demonstration against immigrants, and how these racist alt-right Nazis were gathering by the thousands, and the average citizens were falling prey to their message. But that's not what I saw in the video. The young people that showed the video showed a street with people from one side to the other, and a never-ending line of peaceful marchers, not even any yelling and screaming, just marching down the street carrying signs saying, "We've got to get our immigration policies under control." What the heck's going on? It looks like you have as much fake news media or more than we do over there. And why is it important to the United States to get our act together on immigration admissions and enforcement policies?
Yeah, well, actually, across the entirety of Europe, Rob, the fake news media is further entrenched than it is here in the United States. The media in most European nations is nationalized. They have state-run and state-funded broadcast networks, as well as national newspapers, regional newspapers, and indeed local newspapers. So the media tends to do and has at its heart the interest of doing the bidding of the political establishment. But what you just described, I mean, you didn't name a place and you didn't name a country. And I suppose it's because that could apply to almost any place in Europe right now. We're seeing these revolutions, if you will, rebellions, mass street protests taking place against mass migration, against Pakistani and Bangladeshi grooming gangs, against terrorism, taking place all across Europe at the moment. And I suppose the latest one that you might be discussing is the demonstrations in Chemnitz in Germany. And of course, that is the nation of Angela Merkel, who is now tipped to be the next European Union commissioner after she ends her failed tenure as German Chancellor. But it's the same thing over and over again. Look, I'm not going to sit here and deny that in crowds of hundreds of thousands of people, that there may well be a few sorts that aren't necessarily good eggs, that don't have the best interest in mind of the nation, and that have their sort of queer and curious political sympathies at their heart. But to tar all of these people with the brush of, a handful of nasty types who turn out, well, you see that stuff on CNN every day. You see it on MSNBC. You see what they're doing to the White House here. So, of course, the two things are comparable. But as I say, there are two distinctions between Europe and the United States at the moment. Number one, Europe has nationalized press in the same way that in a lot of European nations you have nationalized healthcare, socialized healthcare. And number two, when you go into the detail of our immigration policies versus US immigration policies, actually, as bad as yours are at the moment, they still are a lot stronger than ours. You basically do not have fundamentally open borders at the moment, whereas European Union member states do. So we are further down the line than you guys are, and let me tell you something. If anybody was sitting at home watching this thinking, yeah, I'm not sure, let's see how this plays out, you only have to go into the streets and the suburbs of Malmo and Stockholm and London and Bradford and places all across France and Germany and Italy and Spain now as well to see what is actually taking place. And if you don't want to do it yourself, and I don't blame you, there is plenty of investigative work out there that backs up what I'm saying. Plenty of videos online on YouTube, plenty of articles have been written about this. And indeed, I wrote a book about it myself in 2017 called No-Go Zones,